Hey folks, Bob Rees for the Guides Forecast, giving you a fishing report from opening day, August 1st, down here in the Astoria area. After such a productive ocean season, I opted to go to the ocean again. It's just been phenomenal. Last 3 days have been 14 fish limits between 2 and 4 hours of effort out there. So why deviate from a good thing? So given the fishing was tough first thing on the red line yesterday, I decided stupidly to go to the north and try for some fish before the tide slowed down. We were on a minus tide this morning, so bar crossing was not challenging, but it certainly could have been if there was any swell with a minus tide associated with it. But specifically, it didn't matter whether you were in the middle, on the south, or the north side. The bar crossing was friendly, and it looks that way. It'll be that way again tomorrow. But I did go to the north, and I was greeted with a somewhat stiff wind chop. But once I got out to about 40 foot of water, which is surprisingly far to the west on the north side, once you get off Peacock Spit, it got a little bit better, but we put the rods in, and we never got bit, probably for about 30 or 40 minutes of effort. So that was disappointing. By that time, it was running around 8 o'clock, and I got a phone call for a good bite to the south. So I did go down to the south. We'll go into more detail in the forecast section, but the south did produce well, very well. We got our 14 fish in about an hour's time. Doubles, I don't remember getting any triples, but the bite was on. A handful of boats, maybe about a dozen boats down the area where we fished. Yeah, fantastic fishing. And we finished out our limit from about 8:30 to 9:30 with 14 fish. No Chinook, and even the grade of coho was a bit smaller today than it had been. So it's just hard to complain about an easy limit when you get that done so quick. There's really one of the surprising features of the ocean fishery this year is that that bite seems to last longer than just the first light bite that we typically experience in the ocean fishery. I don't know if that's reflective of a better than anticipated coho run, why that's happening. We have got some good grade fish, 7-8 pounders in recent days, but today's grade was definitely smaller with no Chinooks in the catch. So, but again, hard to complain about that. River fishing, definitely a lot more interest in the fishery today. The parking lot was full this morning, which is always good to see commerce in rural Oregon. But I didn't get to park in the front row like I usually did when I rolled in at the crack of 7 a.m. But there was definitely fair effort in the river today. And the fishing wasn't fantastic for Chinooks. I did mention in my forecast last night about the coho option at Buoy 10, and not many people did the hover at Buoy 10, but those that did find coho, as I thought might be the case given the stronger incoming tide push and the proximity of coho to the river mouth that basically got vacuumed in on the flood tide. So that panned out. There were guide boats that got 2 or 3 chances at Chinook in the river. Killed a couple. I think the high boat I heard about had 2 hatchery fish, let go another wild one. But for the most part, especially with, again, the ocean being as productive as it has been, those guides opted to go out of the ocean and fish to the south. I also mentioned in yesterday's forecast that, I think the bugs are biting me again. We have this every year. That outgoing and incoming tide inertia kind of knocks down the northwest wind chop. And so the south side of the river was a much friendlier place to fish than the north side. So keep that in mind when you look at wind direction. I'll go over what the wind direction and possibilities are in the forecast section that our paid subscribers will have access to. So a reminder to subscribe to the YouTube page for the Guides Forecast, and TGF subscribers, we appreciate you, and you will have an uploaded report along with the full report that we publish every Thursday up by 10 o'clock tonight. Stay safe out there.